Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show with myself, Scott Hartley, and my illustrious co-host, Scouse Andy Lockhart. How are you, mate? You all right, buddy?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. Calmed down since Sunday. So, yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
right. I'm all right. How are you?
Exactly the same. Calmed down since Sunday, but not great. But we'll get into that. I'm pretty certain of that. But yeah, all good, mate. All good. As always, we'll start with our mammoth sponsors because we've got more sponsors than you can shake a stick at. We are Dunstable Town FC Talk of the Town podcast, so we sponsor them. If you like non-league football or you're into football at all, go across and have a look for them on YouTube. It is Dunstable Town FC Talk of the Towns podcast. We're also graciously sponsored by Oddballs. You can go across to myoddballs.com. They've currently got a sale on, 50% off as well. It's obviously the last day January, so it ends the end of January, so get in there. You can find our stuff on there and others. And we're also graciously sponsored by Fusion Therapeutics. You can find them at fusiontherapeutics.co.uk. They provide expert musculoskeletal assessments and treatment with a focus on holistic care, dedicated to improve your well-being through tailored musculoskeletal health plans. The team offers specialist injection therapy and non-medical independent prescribing. So if you're in the Northwest, Manchester or the Cheshire area, give the team a call on 01606 512 013 or book online, and the team will be happy to advise you on further on this affordable treatment solution. One of these days, Scouse, I will get that read completely right. But yeah, it is what it is, man. But thanks to everybody who's in the chat already. Rod, thanks for being with us. Scott G, Alid, thank you for being here. Fully appreciate you. I'm sure Brian will be along in a minute. He's always in, so it's one of them. Right, we've got a bit of news, mate, to get through first before we start going anywhere. So the first bit of news is it looks like Cliff is staying, at least for a further year, which is great news. Obviously, he is not going to take any head coaching interviews. New Orleans Saints' job is the only job left, and obviously because we've now left at the NFC Championship game, he hasn't taken any interviews. What are your thoughts on this one, Scouse?
Yeah, I think because we were so deep into the playoffs and basically all the good jobs, or potential good jobs, were already gone. So I knew for a fact that he wasn't going to stay. He wasn't going to leave this year. Because to say no one wants the Saints job because you've got a lack of talent, both sides of the ball, and you're poor cap health. So I knew for a fact that he wasn't going to pick the Saints. And once the Chicago job went, I knew that he wasn't going to go. So next year will be the thing for him. And yeah, I'm not surprised that he stays, and I'm pleased that he is because it gives Jaden, a bit of continuity going into next season. So should be good.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly what Rod's just said there. It's brilliant continuity for JD5. Agreed, mate. You don't want to be changing everything that you need to do. I mean, I saw a Nicky Javala post the other day on X saying, just think it's the off-season. We don't have to change names, ownership,
GM.
or GM, front office, head coach, or anything like that, and that's an absolute bonus. I do have to bring a point up from last week. It looked to the world and his dog that Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, all the talking heads, the NFL insiders had said that Lance Newmark was moving to the New York Jets to be with Aaron Glenn as the new head coach over there. It looks like that is not the case now, and Lance Newmark is staying put for now. So I'm happy with that.
Didn't he take the Denver guy?
They did take the Denver guy.
Mugi or Maui or something like that. I don't know how you say it.
I don't know how you say his surname either, but yeah, you're correct. So obviously Lance is not going anywhere, so that's good. It's another continuity bit for us, so and a good piece for Adam Peters to go through. Especially he was quite instrumental in the draft process and the scouting combine, so it looks good to keep him on board. Both Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin will skip the Pro Bowl. So Terry McLaurin has been replaced with Jackson Smith and Jigba from the Seahawks, and Baker Mayfield has replaced Jaden Daniels. They've said that it isn't injury related, it's just wear and tear throughout the season. They just need a break, especially if you've got this far in. They've just said, right, we're not going to do the Pro Bowl in 2 weeks. We're just going to give it a swerve. I know it's Pro Bowl games and it's not an actual game anymore, but any thoughts on that, or do you think it doesn't really matter?
I mean, it's I think each to their own. I mean, if they are battered and bruised and you don't fancy it, then fair play. I say it's not even a game anymore. It doesn't really mean much anymore. Like before, like years ago, it would mean stuff. I mean, everyone still remembers the Sean Taylor hit on that punter.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's a Pro Bowl game. So it just shows that it's kind of fell by the wayside. No one really cares about it anymore, and especially that he took away an actual game, and now it's all games, as in like an actual, tag football and all this crap. It's just I mean, it's just a lot of crap, basically. I mean, for now, I think most of the guys, of course, they want it on the CV that they've been Pro Bowlers or pro.
It's a money thing, isn't it?
It's a bonus. It's bonus incentives. So, and they're still going to get that. So that's why they're not bothered about not going. So,
yeah. And then the only other bit of news, really, there's two bits. So the first one is that we've got signed the following players to a future reserve contract. We've got Kaz Allen, running back, and then we've got a D tackle called Villalami Fahoko Jr., guard Julian Good-Jones. We've got quarterback Sam Hartman, tight end Tyree Jackson, DeAndre Jones Jr. even, defensive end. And then we've got Chris Moore, wide receiver, Ben Nickel, safety, and tight end Cole Turner. They've all been chose to do on the future stroke reserves contract. And the last, I mean, as you said, bombs. That's where we're kind of going with that. You're not really interested. That's kind of your practice squad, isn't it? That's like renewing the practice squad.
Yeah, that's just start. That's just starting. What you call it, like the starting line.
Scout squad. The scout squad.
Yeah.
It's the scouting team.
Yeah. So it doesn't move any needles. I mean,
no, not at all.
Turner's been disappointing. I mean, even when he's had chances, he's not done much. He had one good catch and then caused himself a concussion. So that's the only thing I remember from Turner over. That wasn't even this season. I don't think that was last season. So
that's last season.
So this is I mean, I say these guys aren't moving any needles. So whatever.
Exactly. And then the last thing that came through was that an architecture firm had released a video of what the new stadium at RFK might look like. Now, I know you've seen this. I've had a look at it as well. It's doing the rounds on social media. For all those who haven't seen it, we will tweet it out after from the 1 Point Safety Show Twitter feed. So if you have not seen the video, go and give it a watch. It's about 2.5 minutes long, but it also shows you the development around the stadium. I mean, it looks pretty cool, man. I thought it was awesome. If it's going to look anything like that, or even 80% of what that video would look like, I would be absolutely astounded. I mean, it's a $3 billion project by the look of it. The only bit, obviously, the only bit that you thought, well, you know what? I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, it's made of wood. Sustainability wise,
Man. I mean, I said that I mentioned that to Jesse because he was the first person to show me that video, and I was like, he was going, wood's solid, man, last you 100 years. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you're paying billions of dollars. You want actual steel, don't you? Surely you want steel. I guess sustainability.
I would have thought so. Yeah, but I get that they're trying to do an eco-y type.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, do you know anything about the actual
no,
the guys who actually made that video? The architects.
I don't know. No.
They aren't even. They've not spoken to Washington. Okay, so they're not.
Oh, okay.
They haven't been, prized with the task of creating a stadium. They just threw it out there. They created it themselves and just went, "This is what it could look like."
Okay. So it's a pitch idea, right? Okay.
It's not could happen type thing, So don't get too bogged down with that if it looks anything like that, because it's not the firm they've gone with. So there's no firm yet. They're just at the moment just trying to knock down RFK. So. But yeah, it's a nice way of doing it, though, isn't it? Let's go whap it on social media and go, look, this is what it could look like, and it does look outstanding. To be fair,
it does.
I mean, I love the roof of it and how it was open planned, even on the concourse. Where the fans would be like, in for the bars and all the rest of it, and it just looks superb. And the roof was just amazing. That kind of transparent roof so you still get the natural light in and everything. Yeah, man, I think that's definitely the way to go.
I love the bits around. I love the bits around it with apartment blocks and
To be fair,
other bits.
I'd rather have things that aren't like apartments. I'd rather have some, like maybe more hotel, as in like so you can actually get for fans coming to the game rather than apartments. I know it's nice. It'd be a nice place to actually buy an apartment because it's right on the river and it'll look quite nice.
Yeah.
But for me, it's kind of like no, it should be all for about the people coming to DC to because it isn't just a football stadium. It's going to be concert stadium. Yeah. It's going to be all these different types of things going on with it. And a lot of people don't live in I know a lot of people do live in DC, but a lot of people are going to travel. Like us, for example, we would travel. We would go. Where would you rather be? Hotel in this nice complex right next to the stadium with hotels and with restaurants and all these things that you could do possibly to that area. Of course you would. You'd stay there, wouldn't you, rather than miles away? So, I mean, it's just something for me that is forget the apartment blocks, make them more. If you want to put hotels there, that's fine. But I mean, just make sure there's a lot of things to do there as well. A lot of eateries, a lot of sports bars, etc. as well. So. We'll see, man. But yeah, it looked nice though. It gives an idea of what it could look like.
It gives you a vision.
Yeah, the thing that it didn't show you though that it didn't have any parking. There was no car park.
That's true.
So we're unless it goes underneath the stadium or like a mile or two away, that wasn't in shot. Then you're going to be struggling for the parking side of things. So.
Yeah, Rod says something like Box Park at Wembley. I like Box Park. I think it's decent. It's a decent spot when you go down to Wembley, but there's loads to do around Wembley and it's London, so it's easy accessible, isn't it, for everywhere? Yeah. And Scott G here, that modelled after SoFi and US Bank with a translucent roof. Yeah, it looked very smart, but I think fair play to them for getting the architecture firm for saying, hey, this is what we could do in design. So some whiz kid IT guru's been like, yeah, I can pull that for you. So yeah, happy days. On a bit of a somber note, before we move on from the news, just want to say if anyone's been affected by obviously the plane crash at Reagan, thoughts and prayers are out to you over there because we woke up to that this morning, and obviously a lot of people have seen what's happened on the news. So shout out to all them and their families. It's not a good time.
Essentially no survivors, aren't they?
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
That's the late. 60 people.
63, I think, yeah, which is not good news at all. But well, we've put it off enough, Scouse. So we'll get on to it. The divisional playoff loss, 55-23 versus the Eagles in the NFC Championship. I'll go through the stats, mate, before we get into it. So Jaden Daniels was 29 of 48, 255 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, and 3 sacks. Tress Way was 1 of 1 for 23. We'll get into.
He's got more yards. He's got more yards than Tony Romo and Dak in the NFC Championship game.
I do like that. Rushing, Daniels was the highest rusher with 6 for 48. Brian Robinson 11 for 36, and Eckler was 8 for 15. And then on to the next.
Isn't that poor?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. On to the next one. Zach Ertz was the highest receiver with 11 for 104. Terry had 3 for 51 and a touchdown. Diami Brown was 3 for 42. And that is about your lot. Then fumbles, which we're going to get into. So Austin Eckler lost a fumble. Jeremy McNichols lost a fumble. Diami Brown lost a fumble. So yeah, not ideal. On the defensive side of the ball, the only 2 sacks was Frankie Louvu and Dorrance Armstrong. Both got a sack in this game.
How many turnovers was it? There was 4, wasn't there?
Yeah, because the interception was from Jaden. So interception and 3 fumbles.
Right.
So the 3 fumbles were Eckler, McNichol, Brown.
I thought you missed one out. Obviously, the interception you mentioned.
And the interception is from. It was from. But that was late on, and you know what? I can forgive that when you're chasing the game.
It's a bit old to him, but yeah, it is what it is.
Now you've calmed down, and so have I, and we've slept on it, and it's been a few days. What are your thoughts? Have your thoughts changed on the game, Scouse? Because I know I watched you on the bunker and I watched you on the post show, and emotions were high on the post show, and then on the bunker you were a little bit more simmered, and now it seems like we're a bit further on, the realization's setting in, if you like. It's them stages of grief, isn't it? We're going through it. What are your thoughts, mate?
Or that be classes now? Acceptance, would it be?
Acceptance, yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of where we're at now. Yeah, you're right.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, when you look back at it, what a fantastic season. Way better than what we thought we were going to be. Let's face it. Even besides, Ken and the Mike, no one was picking 12 wins this season. Nobody. So to get that is just an amazing thing, anyway. And then obviously to beat expectations again. Everyone thought we were going to be the whipping boys, and then we go into Tampa, smoke them. Then we go into Detroit of all places and smoke them. And you're just thinking, wow. And that's the thing, you see, it gives you that real hope of, well, we can beat the Eagles. We just beat Detroit, and I think that's the reason why I was so upset when we got absolutely battered, and we did get battered. I know you can say, oh well, the scoreline was close. It was close until halftime, third quarter. But the thing is, every time we gave the ball away, they hit 7, and that's the difference. That was the biggest difference out of all the things. On defense, they kept us poor in the run game. I mentioned before. The stats prove that we didn't do much in the run game again. Jaden was running for, not always, but running for his life at times. I know he only got 3 sacks, but there's times where he runs out for 1 yard, stuff like that a lot because he's been flushed out the pocket. And then, we just gonna be a better team. At the end of the day, they are more talented. They didn't make many mistakes. We made too many mistakes, and they capitalized on every one. And that in playoffs, that's all it needs. I was still
quite calm when Jaden was under centre. I thought to myself, we can easily get back into this. I never thought that it was too far away, but I did have that suspiciously sinking feeling after the first play when it's a house call from Saquon Barkley. I was like, really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, we can get into it. Do you think? I mean,
it was wasn't it Wagner who fell over?
Yeah, it was Wagner and Armstrong. He tripped Armstrong up, and then
that's where the gap came from, and he was just gone. It was just like, when you play man, that's what's going to happen, isn't it? You're going to make one mistake like that, and that's the thing. The guy's gone. That's what we missed. That's what we missed. Somebody could do that for us. You can make when someone makes a slightly out of position or someone falls over, we go all the way for 7, and we haven't got those guys. We haven't got those guys who can take it all the way. I mean, you could say Terry. But it's got to be the right pass where you can burn past the corner. We've got no running back who can do that. We just don't have those guys who can actually scare teams like that. Who can take it to the house at any time.
So Rod says this was the game where our lack of depth in the squad caught up with us, and then he's also said the Eckler one was the turnover that broke us. Yeah, I mean, when you turn the ball over, like you said, Scouse, and you're giving up 21 points. It's really difficult to even do anything.
To be fair, it was 28 because even after the interception, they drove down and got a touchdown.
Yeah, very true.
So they have 28 points from 4 turnovers.
So do you think then that we weren't as aggressive as we should have been? Do you think that off the first drive we should have maybe gone for 7 then and say, you know what? We've got to take it to them, punch them in the mouth early, get them 7 points, and then let them respond. Which, if they do respond, which they would have done with Barkley, you don't know, but they may have done. And if he has a house call, it's still 7-7. You're in the game. Do you know what I mean? At one stage, I believe we were only like 3. At one stage, we were only like 7 points down. I think when the Eckler fumble happened, it was always quite close. But
that was the thing. See, Jaden was moving the ball. It was just that the turnovers killed us. That was the biggest thing out of all. The tush push and the turnovers, that's what kept their drives going. We couldn't stop it. I mean, it's very difficult to stop anyway. I know Scotchy's got a question about it because I mentioned about it on the bunker as well. I mean, we'll go into it later, but I mean, I just can't. It just really. It just annoys me to a certain extent. It's kind of like we kind of lost the game. Like Eagles played that, say, an 8 out of 10. Throughout the whole team. And when we played at about 4, that's the difference. And if you want to be nice, you could say, well, maybe JD was maybe 6 out of 10, something like that. But again, that's still not that. Even though none of those turnovers, besides the pick, was none his fault. So it's hard to grade people, But for me, it's like they just man for man were just better.
Yeah, I agree, and the thing that's difficult to get over here is obviously, yes, it's a hated, bitter rivalry. It's our division rivals. It's always going to be more tough against division rivals, but at the same time, they are a much better constructed team than we are, pound for pound, everywhere across the park. There isn't anyone in that team that you wouldn't. I mean, if you look at the Commanders team and you said, okay, how many of our team would get into that team across there? I would argue you're looking at 5 players total, absolute total, and
yeah, I mean,
and even then, I'm being probably generous.
Yeah. I think JD beats out Hurts.
I absolutely agree with that. Terry, maybe, but you'd take Terry over Devonta Smith probably?
Yeah. I mean, I would, yeah. I mean, or you could, if you wanted to put him as, drop Devonta to wide receiver 3 and lose, who was the other guy? Oh, I can't remember his name, though.
I don't know either.
But yeah,
Jahan Dotson.
Dotson, that's the one. Yeah, our guy. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, that would be quite a nice trio. But again, you're struggling. You're struggling after that, really. I mean, who else did you go with?
I'm trying to think of others. I was trying to make 5 and think, what would you do then? Who would you bring? Maybe you might be right, mate. I mean, in the defense, is there anyone? I was thinking maybe Jonathan Allen, someone like that. Marshawn Lattimore, maybe. Probably not. Yeah, there's certainly no one on the offensive line. That's a certainty.
So our rushers aren't as good as their rushers, even if they've got a great edge rusher. Their corners,
safeties, probably not. Even safeties. Bourne's very good.
Exactly, but Bourne has been outstanding this year. I mean, really has. I mean, really stepped up in linebacker. That's what I'm saying. I'm struggling. I'm genuinely struggling. Besides 2 guys to get in there, so you're getting there.
I think punter and kicker maybe.
But, well, I don't know. I mean, would you really want
Bates?
Jake Bates.
Or Bates. Bates is the kicker for them.
What's Elliott? Elliott's their kicker.
Oh, it's Elliott. Of course it is. Where did they get Bates from? He's at the Lions. He's at the Lions, isn't he? Yeah, sorry. I'm a week behind. Elliott, that's who it is. And then
but so is Gonzalez. Would you really want to trade for that?
No, maybe not.
And then you've got, I say the punter, but their punter's pretty decent. But they don't need them that often either, do they? Just like us. You don't really need press weight that much. Usually, obviously, we did on Sunday, but in general.
Maybe it's just 2 then.
Yeah, I legitimately believe it's 2. Yeah, so.
I am in off-season Cancun mode. Absolutely right, Scott G. Pass me another margarita because this one's empty. But yeah, man, it's one of them. It's one of them.
Painful, man.
But yeah,
the thing that really pissed me off about the game, really, obviously, we mentioned the turnovers, those things. You can't really teach. It's easy to say, don't turn the ball over, and now guys just obviously fumble the ball. And those guys are punching the ball out every time. They should be expecting that. End of the day, we did 5 turnovers against them last time we played them. We haven't learned the lesson. Because they go for the ball every time.
Yeah.
So, we didn't learn a lesson from that. That really pissed me off. And then that tush push bollocks at the goal line. When Jalubi was like being Superman trying to jump over the whole lot, which I thought was funny at the time. And then all of a sudden the refs were going, "Oh, if you do it again, we'll award 6 points anyway for a touchdown." I'm like, what are we doing, minute, bro? I know technically it's in the rules, but first of all, Philly were taking the piss, right? Because they were kind of trying to do a hard count on us as well. What are you doing? Like, obviously just taking the piss out of us because we're already so far back at that point. But it just really, really winds me up. It's like, how else can you got a chance to stop it? You've got no chance of stopping it. I mean, the only time that rule has ever been enforced was in a college football game. It's never been enforced in the NFL, and it was because he wouldn't do it against us, though, wouldn't he? The referee said he would.
It was because a fan. It was because a fan came out of the stands in one of the games and did something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they awarded the. Oh no, that was it. It was something to do with it was. It might have been a fan on the side. The guy was going down the sideline to score, and I think he got tripped up by a fan. And then they awarded it anyway and said, we're going to use that. But the only other time it's ever been called in the NFL game was Miami and Buffalo, when Buffalo were throwing snowballs at the Miami players. They said no, we'll go through it. So it's never ever been used before. We've got to get onto that point of referees, mate, and we'll come back to tush push in a bit with Scott G's question. But we've got to get onto the referees. Sean Hockley and his crew. It wasn't his crew; it was a crew that was made up of other referees around there. But Hockley was the actual referee. I mean, there's a thread that's been on social media: 10 plays that were completely missed. By against us. We're not blaming the referees, but it has to be the same for both sides. It has to be equal for both. If you're going to be horrible for both teams. Don't do it for just what seems like one team. I mean, the Marshawn Lattimore, AJ Brown ripping his helmet off. Now, you don't know what's said. You don't know what was said before, but AJ Brown rips his helmet off his head, and then he gets done. He gets the 15-yard. Yeah, I mean, surely that's offsetting penalties. Even Philly fans have said that's offsetting penalties. You know what I mean? That's it's as simple as that.
Lattimore did anything wrong. I mean, the guy was chirping at him, and then AJ hit him in the face, like pushed him in the face. I know. And then obviously Lattimore responded.
Jalen Carter was
he's a scumbag, bro. I lost a lot of respect for him after that. Yeah, I lost a lot of respect.
I really rate him as a player. I think he's probably the best DT in the whole of the NFL. I think he is.
He's definitely one of them.
He's definitely right up there.
I mean, that really, that they were cheap shots, man. They were dirty, scummy things against Biadish. It really was. Yeah. The poke in the eye. No, that took his eye out, and he tried to. He went right in there with his hand. And what did he give us? A 5-yard fucking encroachment penalty? Like, come on. Come on, bro. The guy lost his fucking eye, and then
he punched him in the face afterwards.
After a block. Like, when he wasn't expecting it. It was such a fucking... It was ridiculous. And the referee didn't even call anything for that.
Nothing.
And I'm just thinking, wait a minute, like, he is just a dirty, dirty scumbag. And now, normally, you kind of like a bit of mean on your line. You definitely want some mean, but you've got to do it within the rules, man. You can't be doing shit like that. It's totally out of order because he's going to deliberately hurt him. And I know some players do that anyway. But in general, play hard, yeah, but play within in the game, in the laws of the game. I lost a lot of respect for him. After that.
You were really upset about the 15-yarder on Sammerstill against Barkley. When he was out of bounds, the illegal... But Barkley lowered his shoulder.
Barkley expected contact. He's still a runner at this point. He hadn't touched the white line yet. Yeah, okay, he's going towards the line, out of bounds. But that's still technically a legal hit for me. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they got it. And then Zach Ertz got absolutely nailed outside. Like, way off the fucking side.
I don't know.
And it's like, come on. Like, if you're going to be like that, if you're going to be anal about shit, you be anal about both teams.
Both
sides, fucking around with shit like this. We don't need the refs against us. We're not that good a team. If the referees were even, it would have been a much more even game. I just think.
Then you had the one about
it's the crunch fucking plays or the crunch drives that these referees get involved in.
It's the fourth and five missed. Hold on Frankie Louvu
back by Barkley, and it's just like, come on, like, just be decent, just be fair.
Yeah,
fair. I'm asking you to give us all the calls. Just be fair.
Rod saying here how the F was Mike expected to stop. Yeah, exactly. It's a really difficult thing for and PRM who's in the chat. He will tell you as a former linebacker, it's really difficult to stop. It's really difficult in most sport now. You're seeing that head health is trying to be looked after through guardian caps in the NFL, in college football. Also, in other sports, if you look at like rugby, the tackle laws completely changed, so you can't tackle, pretty much you're up to the midriff now. You can't even tackle there. You're almost round the navel area, which is just ridiculous to do if you're a 6'8" South African second row. I mean, it's just crazy. And the same thing in the NFL. You're expecting these guys to go out at 100 mile an hour. Some of these dudes can run a 40-yard dash in like 4 seconds or 4.4 or whatever, and they're 200 and odd pounds, and you're expecting him to smash into someone and tackle, and it's like, no, hold on a minute, what are we doing? That's something I did want to bring up, was tackling. The amount of tackling or tackles that we missed was just stupid. I mean, honestly, we need to get someone in to do this tackling drills. I mean, this is in my opinion, I just show someone how to do tackle techniques, because it seems like in the NFL they want to either try and lay the wood with the crown of the helmet down low, or they just want to hit. And it's like it's almost like it hits off soft. There's no wrap. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like me and you, when we're kids and we're playing a different sport, yes, it's an oval ball, but we're playing rugby. You're taught to tackle. You're taught the technique of tackling. You're taught to which side of your head to put down when you're tackling, to go against the hip, to show what tackling you're going to do. Now, I understand that you've got to get them down as quick as you can, but I don't want to see people supermanning over the top and missing. And at the same time, people are hitting and just get bouncing off.
And this is the thing as well. You mentioned about trying to lay the wood and people dropping the helmet to try and hit with the crown. Big, like for example, Samastrell tried it against Barkley and he got ran over.
Apologies, I didn't realise you were a corner. Apologies, I thought you were a linebacker, but maybe.
But this is it though. I mean, normally your best tacklers are your linebackers. Normally, your corners don't tend to like tackling, and you see the difference in techniques. You really do. I see Samastrell or even other guys. You see it all the time from corners when like a guy's running at them. They don't want the smoke, so they crunch down. They bring their head in and try to lay some fake wood. But the problem is they're gonna get their neck snapped off by doing shit like that, because they're getting their head snapped all the time, and it's like they're gonna get stingers regularly because they're doing poor tackle techniques. I understand the guy's big head, he's running at you at speed. Obviously, you don't want it. I get it. I get it. You don't want that contact, but business decisions and all this crap that people talk about. But the game's on the line, mate. You're the last guy. You gotta make that tackle, and if you can get two hands on a guy, you've got to make that tackle.
Absolutely.
Even Saquon's first one to the house, 60 yards. Both our safeties got both hands on him, and he still got away.
Yeah,
that's with all of the nonsense before that, when the guy fell over and tripped over Armstrong and all that. Chin had both hands on him. Martin had both hands on him, and he still couldn't bring him down because it was all a bit like this. You've got to be able to take him down, man. And that's anyone, not just Barkley, but anybody. You get two hands on the guy, you've got to take him. You got to be able to tackle him, bring him to the floor.
Agreed. I've just forgot a bit of news, mate. Before we got into this, I've just put up our brand new Nike athlete. For the moment.
What's going on, everyone? It's Benjamin St. Juice, defensive back for the Washington Commanders, a.k.a. St. Ghost. And I'm here with a 1 point.
So, yeah, there is St. Ghost, his new advertisement for Nike, or Nike, if you are over that side, whichever you'd like to call it. He is now a Nike athlete. And,
what is it? Is it something like this slogan? St. Ghost, just ghost it.
No, I was thinking pass interference, just do it.
No, oh yeah, okay, that's a good one, but
but yeah, it is what it is. So shout out to Saint Ghost. Anyway, you're not on the team anymore, bro. So you've got to make sure that you get
your Nike athlete now. We're just going to be like a model, like
Exactly. Yeah, maybe that's what he's trying to do. I mean, he's not a bad-looking lad, let's be honest. So I wish him well in his future career of modelling, because that's probably where we're going with that. But yeah, man. Anything else that you wanted to take from this game, apart from obviously the disappointment that we got from the final scoreline?
Yeah, I just thought. Well, obviously they give up after a while, didn't he? I mean, let's face it, and I understand. You can't let guys like what was his name? That running back who went all the way.
Shipley, wasn't it? Was it Shipley?
Yeah, Shipley. Like, who the hell's that guy? Yeah. I'm letting him gashes for 50 yards. Like,
No
I
idea.
understand the game's over at that point, but still, man, that's them just taking the piss out of us, and we let them. So that's what really annoys me more than anything. But it is what it is. You know, I say overall, amazing season, way further than thought anybody thought we'd get to. We just didn't show up. We just didn't show up, and the Eagles fans were right at it. No, again, Eagles fans, I can't even congratulate you because most of you are the scum. You know, I don't even like being horrible like that. I really don't. But when you see all these videos online, you see all the social media stuff, and you see our guys being attacked or having this,
it's awful.
Hats taken off them or hats ripped off and run off, or just taking the piss purely out of us. After the game's already over. We've already been abused, you know. So it's kind of just leave us alone type thing. No, they're gonna keep going at us. I mean, even Hog Farmer Chris was getting abused during the game.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Come on, fellas. You know, it's a game. Yeah, it's an important game, and we all love it. But at the end of the day, it's a game. Do you really want to like argue with like ex-army dudes who just kill you anytime they want, and they've got to withhold themselves? You know, even Tailgate Ted was getting abused by loads of people.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm just like, come on, fellas. I mean, the banter. I'm all for banter. I'm all for kind of ripping each other. But these guys just go. They always take it fucking beyond the line every time. It really annoys me. Really.
Yep.
And that's why I can't root for them in any way. Even like you think, oh well, you should root for them against Kansas, but they're both fucking cheats, man. They're both referees on their side, so it's going to be interesting to see who wins in the Super Bowl, just because who's the rest going to be with. So.
Very true. So we had locker clean-out day as well on Monday, obviously following the defeat, and Dan Quinn and Adam Peters did their end-of-season presser. Obviously, Dan Quinn has said he's not going to take it in stride. He's just going to wait a bit. He's going to let the dust settle before he before he has a look back at basically what's happened this season. And, there's no congratulations or pats on the back at the moment. He's not in that headspace at the minute. Peters is heading down to the East West Shrine Bowl, I think. He's going to go and have a look at the Senior Bowl even. Yeah, my apologies. He's off down there with the scouts. And he's basically looking at trying to start straight away, looking at trying to better this team. So, yeah, it's one of them. There's lots of post locker room interviews, people talking. Zach Ertz saying, yes, I'd like to be back. Didn't say he'd like to be necessarily back here, but he said he'd like to play football again. A lot of the others did as well. It was all the same. I'd like to be back here. I'd like to be the usual thing that you'd expect them to hear. There wasn't anybody who sat there and said, I want to go. I mean, it wasn't like last season where we had the end of the season where everybody had checked out and John Allen sitting there saying, I want to play for a different team. All that sort of stuff. Basically, that was how it went. Whereas this year, it seemed like everybody just wanted to be back in that locker room again. Now, we all know that can't happen. PRM's put something in the chat here, said, I thought about going to Philly, but didn't because I might get in trouble. Yeah, probably. We're the same. We're exactly the same. We thought about it and said, you know what? No, it's not worth it. It really isn't worth going. And that is a terrible idea. And I'm sure a lot of the other Commanders fans out there went, no, we're not doing that either.
Yeah. I mean, I always think of this about kind of in UK, you don't get the way it is set up in the States. No. There is designated home, like 80% of your stadium, 90% of your stadium is home fans only. And then the remaining is an away end or away section, whatever you want to call it. Because of these problems. This is what you get all the time. You don't let the away fans out for half an hour until after the game's finished. Just so a lot of the guys who are coming out at the same time, well, they're not there. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about kind of, safe person safety. Like, of course, some people might wait half an hour to try and have a fight with one of the guys. Yeah, I get it. But it does reduce a lot of the hostility after games. It really does. I think the NFL should look into that in a big way because we've been to games, quite a few games, and have you not seen a fight? Have you not very close to where you're standing?
Yep.
It happens every game. It's throughout the whole stadium. And that's because someone's mouthing off against somebody who's just sat there. And again, eventually you have enough. And then you just start hitting each other. And some guys are getting laid out or fighting in the concourse bit of the stadium. And it's like, you would never have this problem if you had an away end.
Yeah,
and a home end. You just wouldn't have it. But yeah,
it's very tribal. It's very tribal here when we talk about our football as well, and what you're brought up on, and who your rivals are, who you're not.
But it's very tribal in the States.
I get that. I completely get that, but it is a bit of a strange one. Like you're not, but you know where you're not going to get trouble. You're not going to get a trouble between Washington and Jacksonville. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. You're not going to get much trouble between other teams like that. You're not going to go to an AFC North rivalry game and then go, oh yeah, not expect a bit of trouble if you go to Pittsburgh.
We went to the Arizona game. There was fights.
Yeah, there was. You're right.
This happened throughout the stadium. Every stadium, not the Stars, but everybody.
But I also think it's down to drink. I think it's down to alcohol. People can't handle their alcohol.
And
they
get tanked up all morning.
They get tanked up all day, and then it comes to a 1 o'clock kickoff, and it's I'm already leathered. Exactly there, cut off the alcohol sales. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, mate. But if you're tailgating at 8,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're bringing your own booze.
Yeah.
So for tailgate, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, when you get in the stadium, I think they go till third quarter. Is that right?
Yeah, they do.
That?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
For beer sales. What would you do? Even if you cut at halftime or after the first quarter, it's still everyone's had a skinful. So if you can't handle your beer, you shouldn't drink. Let's face it. If you can't handle your drink, you shouldn't be drinking. So, but it is what it is. But I think as an organization and as a team, you have got a responsibility to the people that go to your stadium, and safety is one of them. So, and I think they should do something about it. I understand that our fans, if we had a massive home end and a small away end, obviously no one would be in the stadium for how bad we've been for the past 5 years. I get it, but you can always change that. If one, for a fact that Philly fans are going to overtake the stadium, you can have a 50-50 split, but you don't have the same fans in the same sections. Does that make sense? You don't have the Skins fans with the Eagles fans. You just don't do it. Yeah, you already separated before you even get into the stadium. Yeah, but
then you've got Costa stewarding then, and that's the problem, isn't it? So if you imagine it here, are people going to fight and argue with each other if they jumping over a couple of rows of chairs? You've always got stewarding over this side where you've got a line of stewards separating a bunch of fans. I don't want to be down that route. I love an away day, as you know. Even at football in our end, it's great to go to an away end and you're
cool.
in there. You see,
but why is that? But why is it cool? Because you're the minority kind of group.
Yeah,
because
of course.
Only a couple of thousand of you, say maybe, compared to say 20,000 of the home team, but you're there and you're all together. And you're all there cheering for your team as one, and that's why it's cool to go to a away game in soccer. Right? But if you're a Liverpool fan, and I've done it before. I've been in even with guys that we get on with. So I've been into home games, as in away game for Liverpool, but actually played at Newcastle away. And I've got a lot of. Geordies and Scousers are very, very similar, and they get on very, very well. But I'll tell you what, they weren't liking me when I was up there. And I wasn't even being mouthy or anything. I was being quiet. I was hiding my shirt because you can't be standing around there with your Liverpool shirt on because you're full of Newcastle fans, and any one of them could jump you at any time, and they would do if we scored and they were getting beat. They would do something like that because football or sports makes people very tribal,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that should be something that is discussed more in the NFL.
Yeah, Rod says, at my age, if you drank beer that long, I'd never see the game. I'd be running to the toilet all the time. Yeah, I'm with you as well, absolutely. And Scott says, one interacts with more random fans when you're the away team fan. I can understand that. I understand where you're coming from then. But I just think Philly's not a nice place to go to. Let's be honest about it.
Well, the thing is, if you went to Philly, if you knew you had a full section of, 201 or whatever, and that was all for Washington fans or for the away fans only, would you feel a little bit safer during the game?
During the game, yeah. Outside of the stadium, probably not, no.
You'll come in with a lot more fans because only your section is only your fans. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So even all the bars there are all your fans. They're not Eagles fans getting into the bar, you know what I mean? It's not that. It's all your fans. So you would feel, I think, a lot, especially a lot of like ladies, a lot of kids, I think they'd feel a lot safer, even coming into the stadium, because you will go in smaller groups, but you'd have a lot more, rather than just run 2 people here and there, you'd have a good 20, 30 of you, going in at the same time. So I just think it makes a lot more sense, And yeah, you can hurl abuse at each other, but it's from far away. It's not right in your face, And I think that it makes it a lot less intimidating. And I understand intimidation to try and put the team off, but what's the point in abusing and doing that to fans? It doesn't serve any purpose,
No.
So. I just think it needs looking into, being honest. But America's always been like that. It's always been free for all. You can sit wherever you want, and I don't think it'll ever change. But I think there should be a conversation.
Yeah, we'll get into our fan questions then, mate, where we are at the minute. So Scott G is our first one with a fan question. He says, primary position to upgrade in the off-season on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
both sides of the ball. I mean, the biggest.
So he's saying where would you go? What's your primary position to upgrade in the off-season on both sides of the ball?
It's the Lions, man. It's the Lions. You win football games in the trenches. It's not the sexy pick, but it's the pick that you need, and the player that you need, and that's what we need. So when we come into me, if I had to choose between defensive line, I'll be looking at the offensive line.
Wow, Kelsey, yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I understand the argument of, well, you need the runners. You need to be able to stop the run, so D-line should be more important. I get it, but then I also want to protect JD. No, I want him here for 10, 15 years. I don't want him here for 3 years with a broken leg. You see what I mean? So, and you've got to protect the guy. You've got to protect him. And we don't protect them that well, really. I know you'll see sometimes you get a load of space, but this offensive line's too hit and miss. We can't do anything in the run game either. This whole line is not creating any push, any gaps, nothing. So it needs upgrading, man. It needs upgrading. For me, I'll be looking at left guard and right tackle. That's where I'm looking at. And I'm talking starters, not just like depth pieces. We need depth throughout the whole lot because our depth is daft. Let's face it, on the O-line. So That's what I'm looking for first, and then I'm looking to stop the run. So then I'm looking at a big time Vita Vea type guys. That's what I'm looking for on the D-line side of things. Now, again, I don't know who's like that in the draft this year yet. I've not done my research yet, but if anybody like that's available, then I'll definitely be interested.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean,
of course, we need.
Couldn't agree.
That's what I'm saying. We've got a lot of holes. This is why this is such an amazing season. That we got a lot of holes and we still did well, So, but we can only do what Peters can do, and hopefully it'll be much better upgrade next year. But
let's hope so. So we'll get into to another question. Then this is the first one from Tim Towner. He's brought in a few for us. He said, "Let's say there's 5 areas to a team. You have run offense, pass offense, run defense, pass defense, and special teams. Undoubtedly, all need to be addressed in some way, but we only have 7 picks and 87.5 mil in cap space." Hold on, Tim. That's before we roster across probably 4 or 5 million that we've still got in the pay packet for this year, plus the upgrade that you get every year. So I think it's going to be about 100 mil. But even so, we're with 87.5 right now. If we use the picks on best player available and prioritise the 5 areas, as in which area do you think would benefit from the most free agency cash? So what he's saying there basically is a similar question to Scott G, but he's saying what's the best? Is it run offense, run D, pass D, or special teams?
See, it's kind of hard because JD is masking a lot of holes as well, especially with the receiving side of things. No, he's putting balls there that even poor receivers can catch. That's how good he is. It's like if we had a guy who's less accurate, our receivers wouldn't be catching anything. You'd be thinking we need a whole new 2 or 3 receivers. You'd be talking like that, But instead, well, you can they're serviceable. They're not great, but for me, we've been decent. We've been decent against the pass on defense.
I agree.
They've been decent, I'd say, with the pass as in offense. It's the run side of it, both ends, offense and defense. We can't do anything either against the run or for the run. So
I think it's run D. Run D is where we need to be. We need someone who can set the edge. We don't have anybody who can set a physical edge. We have a tweener in Dante Fowler Jr., who's got the most sacks on the team this year. We have Luvu who breaks in from linebacker blitzes, which is great to see, and he gets sacks as well. Then you have someone in Dorrance Armstrong who is a good player, but he's not going to, oh my God, he's such a great talent. He's a decent edge.
Sacks like an elite guy does.
No, he's a decent edge, but he's not Trey Hendrickson, or he's not out there, going round the edge going, hey, I need a sack right now, TJ Watt. Come and get me. I know Micah's not happy. You and Ian, Rod, you can talk about Micah together, but mate, he's not coming to this team. He isn't. It's just not. I know he does. But
the only thing about Parsons for me is, like, of course, the players get excellent. You'll get your in our team. But the thing is that this guy causes shit in his podcasts all the time. He's causing beef in between all his teammates. Unless he stops his podcasting for a while he's here, I wouldn't sign him. I mean, the player, yes, but the person, I don't know. You know what I mean? So,
did you see the Bleacher Report article that came out saying that these are potential players that we could be linked with this year? And it said there was quite a few on there. It's actually really good. It said that we would be linked with one that you would probably go, no. It was Kyle Pitts. For a low pick, but obviously he's not been used very well in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And you're a Florida Gators fan, so
he tore up college. I'm not going to lie, he tore up college, different level, like obviously. But there's talk of him. But the big two, there was Deebo Samuel was another one that was talked about, and I thought, oh, okay, that's an interesting one. Deebo Samuel, I could take him on the outside. There was T. Higgins. Which is, obvious. Obvious. And then the two big names that were on here was Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. Now, I'm not trying to put it out there, but Myles Garrett was going to cost you an absolute arm and a leg in picks. It's going to be ridiculous. You're talking multiple first-round picks, multiple second-round picks year on year. It's ridiculous. But I don't think Max Crosby would cost you as much as that. I think you probably give up the first round this year, and you probably give up a third and maybe a second or a third next year, and I think that would probably get him. His contract is absolutely doable, and he did pick us on the against the Lions. He was the only one on the panel that said yeah, and there's been articles out there saying he likes Jaden Daniels. So would Max Crosby suit you in this team? Oh, hell yeah.
Or is that a daft question? Because it probably is.
Oh yeah, I mean, the energy he comes with, definitely. Yeah. And he's 27, so he's hitting his prime. I'm just looking at ages then on the phone. That's the reason why.
Oh, is that what you were looking at? Yeah, got you.
Yeah, so Garrett's 29, going to be 30 in December of this year. So he's, and then maybe just starting to tail. Maybe. I mean, he still might be amazing for 3 years. Who knows?
What the defensive player of the year last year? I mean, go on, Scouts.
Look at Aaron Donald.
I know, mate. I know. I get you.
I'm retiring, see you later. And he was the best at the time. So, but me, Max Crosby, I like his energy, and he definitely sees like he wants a guy. He's a guy that we would love to be. I think there's a few guys that have been putting the feelers out. As you mentioned, he's the only guy who picked us to win. DJ Reed was crying on.
Oh, he was crying, wasn't he, DJ Reed? Yeah, I mean, he genuinely wants to come in.
And these guys are going to be available. I think that Max Crosby would be available because he's got a new coach and everything else. Yeah, of course, would you want to keep one of your elite rushers? Sure. But he might want to leave. He might go, look, I'm in my prime. I want to go somewhere where I can actually win something. And most players now look for quarterback, don't they? That's what they look for.
Yeah, of course they do.
Who's got the best quarterback situation? He wants me. Because the money's going to be similar. If you're going to trade for him, well, you're going to have the same contract he's just on. Unless you
Myles Garrett did say that in his exit interview with the Browns that he wants to go somewhere where he's going to win, but he also wants to know what the plan is for how the Browns can win, is what he said too. So interesting one with Myles Garrett. But on the DJ Reed thing, I've been banging this drum for a while now, knowing that he's a free agent. He obviously put out tweets trade deadline when we went for Lattimore, and then you saw him shouting, "Go on, Terry! Go on, Terry! Go on, JD!" You could see him with his tweets the other day about against the Lions. That was pretty cool. But what I didn't realize was Frankie Louvu, or Oos, he was saying. In his exit interview and locker clean-out day, he was saying a lot of players are already asking him and saying, "I want to come to Washington." And I didn't know that he's really big mates with DJ Reed.
Oh, is he?
So I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Coming up with 4, but there you go. Or hopefully coming up with 4, but I might be coming up with 8. Who knows?
As you say, we're probably going to have 100 mil. I think we're going to get rid of John Allen. I really do. That'll save us 16 to 17 mil, I think, as well. On next year's cap.
I was going to ask you about that. Do you think both DTs are gone, or do you think that it's far too early to run away from Payne? But Allen, go Birds.
I think Allen's gone, mate. I think Allen's gone. But I do think Payne was doing a lot more of the dirtier stuff that you don't really notice. That's why he wasn't getting any sacks or anything like that. He was asking to set edges, stuff like that. So because other guys couldn't do it properly. And we missed him big time in the championship game. He just wasn't there. So, cheers, mate. Cheers. 3 or 46?
3 or 46. So we got 5 on it with JD 5, but you got 55 on it. So fair play, mate. Thanks for showing up. I get you, man. I get you. It is what it is. Better team won on the day, and we're not going to deny that at all. But turnovers cost us that game. Our next question from Tim then, he says, would you consider trading Lattimore? No. For me, absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
I mean, I kind of get the frustration because he's a bit of a hothead, and AJ Brown knows exactly how to play him, as in wind them up. He knows how to wind them up. That's right. Mike Evans knows how to wind them up as well. And the thing is, did you know that AJ Brown and Lattimore are the same agency? Same sport agency. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
They know each other well, very well. They're probably even friends, but on the field, different game. You know what I mean? I get that, but it's kind of everyone's trying to get at Lattimore because he is a bit of a hothead. I get it. We just don't have those nasties in our team that would do the same to them. Like would start that type of shit. Like C.J. Gardner-Johnson for them. He's a massive hothead, but no one tried to wind him up all game, did they? See what I mean? Like their guys, Mike Evans was doing it again for Tampa. Think he was doing it against us. A.J. Brown was doing it. These guys, and because they know they're going to get some penalties. And plus, you've noticed nowadays as well is that a lot of players are trying to fake it, a bit like soccer, they're falling down from that for contact that you'd never fall down for. And if you notice that, or trying to, I mean, you get slapped a touch to the chin and they fall down like the 350-pound behemoth, center falls down. Like what's this? Why is soccer cheating getting involved in the NFL? That's the reason why I love the NFL, because it doesn't do shit like that. But that's creeping in, man. I don't like it.
It is. So Ian was right there. He said Wilson from the Jets was also mentioned in the Bleacher Report. That's someone. That's someone I'd trade for. 100%, I'd trade for him. Oh. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be a very good thing there. Tim's also asked us here his third question. He's got 4 in this week. He said, grade the draft picks from 2024. He said an A would be JD5 and an F would be practice squad or cut. So if we look back at our draft class from this year, we're going to go JD. We're going to go Jaden Daniels, and then we're going to go. So he's an A star, absolutely. A plus. Next one over at picked at 36 in the second round was Johnny Newton from Illinois. What were your thoughts on Johnny Newton this year?
I want to say C plus on him. I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen the best of him. Definitely better next season. But I think it was C plus.
Yeah, agreed. Next one in the second round again, 50th overall was cornerback Mike Sammerstill from Michigan.
A.
Mikey! He's an A. Absolute A. He's standout. Supposed to play slot corner. Obviously came in and played outside for the vast majority of the...
No one burnt him, really. I mean, AJ Brown gave him a clinic, by the way.
He did. He did. Yeah, I'll give him his due. Yeah,
that's probably the only guy who's done it to him all season. Who made him look like he was a rookie. Before that, he was handling his business against anybody. AJ Brown sorted him out.
and he's going to get so much better. So on that, then, are you looking at an outside corner to bring in the off season to put Mikey back into the slot, or are you saying no, we'll keep Mikey outside and you bring in a slot corner?
I mean, I think the nice thing is that you could do either or, couldn't you? Really, I mean, Sam Mastrell himself, he said, "Where's your best position?" And he said, "Slot." Right, so you would probably think, well, you want to bring him back into the middle. However, he can handle himself outside. Now, it all depends what you do. As in, do you re-sign Nick Bonogany? Now, if you re-sign him, then you can play Mikey outside. Yeah, but either way, we still need depth. So I would be going for DJ Reed. I'd be going for DJ Reed. Why? Because obviously he'd probably be a starter. But you could have those three as a rotational piece. You know, you could have Lattimore, you could have DJ Reed, and Mikey as a rotational kind of three between the two spots. And if need be, Sam Mastrell can go into the slot if, say, Bonogany gets injured or something like that. So those things, even that makes our back end a lot stronger just by getting one guy or re-signing one guy and getting a free agent like DJ Reed. But it just depends how Peters wants to go about it, really. I would, if it was me, I'd be looking to improve cornerback for sure. So I would be looking at a free agent corner. But again, he's got to be the guy that you can actually do it. You can do a lot of man, because we do want to play man, but we're just not good enough.
Yeah, we normally end up playing zone, don't we? Yeah, because there's nothing. Yeah,
because our guy's getting burnt, and I get it. So if DJ Reed can play man, so if we'd be able to play a lot more man if we had him and say Lattimore, both playing at the same time, So I'm definitely looking at a corner upgrade in a free agency.
100% agree.
I'd rather I know people say, well, should you go for corners free agency? We've been burnt before. Look at the guy from the Bengals we got. Remember him? The best corner out there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he was absolutely shite.
Oh my God, what was his name? I can't even remember his name now.
Yeah,
I do know who you're on about. Wow,
we all know who he is. And they're asking to play man, and he couldn't play man. He's his own corner. Remember? And he got toasted all day, and he got caught eventually. I can't remember his name now.
Do you know what? I can't even.
I'm sure one of us in the chat will have us off there and show us who it is. But yeah, man. I mean, I'd be definitely looking for an upgrade there, sure. But I wouldn't mind having them as a rotational piece, as I say. Have three top guys.
William Jackson the third.
William Jackson the third. That's it. Yeah, absolutely gaffy.
Wow.
He was the last kind of big signing we got from corner, and he was pretty shit, wasn't he? So
he was terrible.
But we're going to get discounts as well, I say teams are going to take a bit less money to play here, so we're going to be able to get our money's going to be able to stretch further. So I think we'll be able to upgrade more places than you probably think we could. I really do.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Next one that we've got on there is in the second round again. Yeah. No, in the second round we've got pick 53, tight end Ben Sinnott from Kansas State. Tough one this to grade, because
I agree with Ian. D-. I mean.
Yeah, maybe an E, bottom of the roster type thing, because we haven't seen anything from him.
And when we did see him, he was giving penalties away for holding.
Caught a good pass the other day.
Yeah, that's the only good thing he's done in his whole season. So for me, one player can get you higher on the grades. So for me,
I think he got a touchdown, didn't he, as well, early in the season?
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah.
It
takes a while though to be a good tight end, especially when you're a rookie. It's really difficult.
It just depends what you're using them as. If you ask them to be an in-betweener, receiver and blocker,
a H-back, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah.
If you're an in-betweener type of role, which then you need to know protections of the offensive line and all this and all that, which does take a lot of time to learn. It does, but if you just ask them just to be a pure receiver, i.e. Brock Bowers, for example, it's a lot easier to learn and hit the ground running if you just you're really a receiver. You're not blocking anybody. Don't worry about blocking or protections or anything like that. You're our receiver. Now again, I'm not saying he's as good as him, but I'm just saying But I want to see more. I need to see a lot more from him. I need to see him play regularly. I need to see what he can actually do with because his small sample size is not good.
Agreed. Next one then, in the third round, 67, offensive tackle, left tackle Brandon Coleman out of TCU. What was your thoughts on Brandon Coleman? Obviously, rookie left tackle, started most games. I think it was about 6 games in before he started his first game, but he was doing 50-50 reps, wasn't he, with Lucas?
Yeah, I think you've got to give him a B. I agree. I think B is reasonable. He wasn't expected to be starter really, but he ended up being the starter.
Took his lumps as well, though, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? So he had games where he was awful, and then he had games where he was very good.
There's definitely been games where he's been toasted. I mean, even the Eagles, he struggled. He struggled against Detroit. He struggled in a few games. But don't forget, he has been left on an island. Let's face it, he's been left on his own against some really good rushes. So, and he's held his own most of the time, but he has been beat quite a few times as well. But that's understandable for a rookie.
Exactly.
Rookie left tackle is one of those ones that really, really struggle first year. Even the elite ones now, who are elite right now, the first season they were starting, but they were bad or average at best. And I think Coleman's average. I think he played quite well enough to say he was that kind of B. You might say C+ if you really wanted to. But for me, he's going to be. You're going to see the biggest jump for him next season.
I think so too. I really do.
If this guy's got it, if this guy's going to be like a solid left tackle in the NFL, you'll see it next season because that's the biggest jump for a left tackle is rookie year to the second year. Because they've seen it all before. They've seen all the stunts now. They've seen all this, seen all the skills from the superstars that he takes up against. And then you'll know if he's got it. If he can handle his business, then we've got one, boys. We've got one in the sound. If not, then we're looking for another left tackle in the draft in next year.
Yeah, and he gets moved inside. Maybe
he might go inside. I think someone mentioned on the chat actually.
That's true inside. Because when he came out, they were talking about him being a guard, and obviously he'd spent a lot of reps at guard, especially in his last season at TCU. A lot of talk of bringing him inside. I get it, and I understand exactly where they're coming from with that. But yeah, you're right. Probably a B-, if not a C+. Is kind of where I go with him.
The thing is, though, is that if you say, we're bringing him inside because we do need to improve left guard. There's no doubt about it. Who'd you go at left tackle though?
Well, you have to sign one.
You're not getting the top
have to sign one.
29. No.
You're not. You're not going to get one at 29. No, but
you're not going to get top level players who are going to be on free agency. You might get okay ones. I think Cam Robinson's out there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We'll look at that. We'll look at that in a second.
But he's going to be big money, and is he going to be worth that money? I don't think he will be. I think he's better than Coleman, yes, but he's not. He's not guys that he's going to really fucking.
You can't have it both. You can't have it both ways, Scouse. You can't sit on here and scream about offensive line, and then the best offensive lineman out there is I'm not going to pay it.
I was not looking for left tackle. I was looking for guard. And right tackle, not left tackle.
Do you persist with him? Do you persist with Coleman out there? I probably do.
I do. I think it's the premier position, isn't it? Left tackle is a premier position, and it's hard to find a guy. You normally draft them. The guys who become elite. You don't see them on the chopping block or the trade block that often. I know, obviously, our guy did. Pissed off to San Francisco, but that's only because of. Obviously issues with ownership
internal issues.
Yeah, internal issues. So I'm not. I mean, it's for me. I'm looking at guard. Yes, if you are going to go Coleman inside, okay. I mean, I can live with it. Just a case of you need to really improve that left tackle slots if that's the case. And I think it's easier to find a left guard than a left tackle.
I agree. Moving on to the next 100 pick in the third round, pick 100. Luke McCaffrey out of Rice. Again, it's kind of it's an F. Are you saying? F. What practice squad / cut?
Practice squad. I mean, he's not done anything. Now, is this a JD thing because he's like, third read, fourth read every time on every play? might just be a case of that, and that's the reason why he's not getting any ball. But he's not doing much for us. You could say, well, kick return, he did a little bit.
Yeah,
again,
that's
he's
where
not
I was
doing
going with
much.
that. Specials.
That's where he's going to be. He's going to be on the special teams, really, unless he really breaks out. But Jaden obviously doesn't have the trust in him, or Cliff doesn't. One of the two, because if every time a play's been called by Cliff and McCaffrey's the fourth read, well, Jaden's not going there.
No,
there's just enough time to get to your fourth read realistically, because our offensive line can't block all day. So McCaffrey's never going to get the ball, which is happening. He's not getting a lot of ball, is he? Let's face it. So
no, I would go with an E there. I wouldn't say he's cuttable. I would go with an E. I think he's
special
got
teams, and that's an F, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got no. An F was on what he was saying here. An F is cut or practice squad.
E then.
Yeah, I would say he's an E. So he should be specials. He's probably wide receiver 4, isn't he? Is where I'm. At the moment, it's kind of where you're looking at him. But no, it's not. Next one, Jordan McGee out of Temple, linebacker. Just haven't seen anything from him. Special teamer, been injured most of the season. It's hard to grade someone like that because you just don't know what you've got.
He's not a starter. He wouldn't be a starter when he is healthy. And then you think, okay, specials, but then he gets hurt. He hits his knee first up. He missed the first 6 weeks of the season, and he came back, and then he got hurt again. And it's just like, mate,
yeah, you're not bringing him in. You're not bringing him in to get rid of Bobby Wagner. You're just not going to bring him in, are you?
Because you don't know what you've got in him because you haven't seen it.
Correct.
You haven't seen him. So again, for me, if you because of injuries, he's going to be low. He's going to be like an E again because we've not seen him.
Can we even grade? I don't even think we can grade him. To be fair, I'll have to look at snap counts, but it's going to be very, it's going to be very difficult for that one. Safety 161 in the 5th round. Safety Dominic Hampton. Again,
he's more like an F because he's mostly not
special teamers.
Special
teamer, isn't he?
Squad player.
And there's a lot of the time he's one of the inactives, isn't he? So
he's on the team. He doesn't get a chance to play. And when he did play, I think he did an okay game. I think when Martin was out with concussion that one game, but he wasn't anything special, So definitely still low down. Again, the problem is a lot of these are small sample sizes, so it's hard to really.
Of course they are.
I
mean, I looked at Quan Martin, 2 years ago and thought.
You're going DE for him as well. So
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Now I'm thinking, Jesus, he's the first person on the team sheet. Do you know what I mean? Because he is that good, and I really rate him. Last one then was edge rusher Javonte Jean-Baptiste out of Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. You mean Notre Dame? You mean
or Notre Dame? Yeah, as we call it. Yeah. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Again,
I think
F
Baptiste. Again, Baptiste is. He did okay for a while, and then he got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah.
But he did okay. He's 7th rounder, so he's higher than his grade. I think he's done okay, but I'd give him like an
E,
D minus,
D minus E. Yeah, thereabouts. Because you just can't. There's just not enough snaps in any of these back end players from Jordan McGee down to even grade them. You can only realistically grade. I would suggest to answer Tim's question, probably the first 4.
Up to McCaffrey, yeah. I mean,
maybe, McCaffrey, yeah. From Jordan McGee down, you're struggling.
And I think I'm hoping next year these will come on a lot, and I'll quite gladly change my grades.
Agreed. So our next question is from Christian Burt, who is UK HTTC Blogs. If he's also your co-host on Red Zone in the Lab UK. So if you haven't subscribed, go and subscribe to that with Deuce and the boys, Scouse and Christian. You can find Christian's work if you just Google search UK HTTC Blogs. He writes blogs all the time. He's very good at his writing. He loves his pen and typing it out. So shout out to Christian. He says he agrees with you, Scouse, which is a rarity. He said offensive line. He said, I'm not averse to paying some dollar for a free agent tackle. Who might we pursue? Now, I've got the free agent list up here. So coming out of the top at the moment, you've got Zach Martin, but he's nearly 35. From the obviously guard from the Dallas Cowboys. Next one is Cam Robinson at left tackle. Obviously, He is at Minnesota at the minute.
Has he always played left tackle? Has he ever played right?
Yes, he has played right. Yeah. So he is out there as well. Brandon Scherf. Brandon Scherf out of I know, but if you're saying you want a guard and you want a right tackle,
no, I don't. I mean, I want a right tackle. I mean, Scherf's
you want a right tackle. No, I'm saying, but you said you want a. You said, yeah, you're right. Scherf's a right guard, exactly that. Yeah, then I'm struggling here. Joseph Noteboom.
Doesn't move
from LA. No, not at all. Then it's a few centers. Ronnie Stanley out of Baltimore. He is 30, nearly 31.
Okay, I thought he was older. I thought he was older than that.
He's nearly 31 at $7.5 million was his previous contract. No, I'm going to see what his market value is. Market value is $20 million a year.
Yeah,
no chance.
I think it's definitely worth more than $7 million. I mean, yeah. If you can get him for anything like $7 to $10 million, I'd be quite happy to take a shot on him, a left tackle.
His previous AAV was $7.5 million. Tyrone Smith, way too old.
I don't like him. He's old. Mm-hmm.
He's
Mr.
very
Hold.
old.
Mr. Hold.
And then he did. And I'm trying to see if there's anyone else.
Right, he's a guaranteed hold. That's what he is.
Yeah. So. Morgan Moses, 34 years old. I tell you what, there's not much here. There's not much here on the right. I mean,
if you're looking at 34-year-olds, you better just keep Cornelius Lucas as a swing because he's about the same age. So
100%. I mean, if I look
I'm
at
not spending money on those. Stanley's interesting, Cam Robinson's interesting, but they're the only two.
The only other one is the only other one I would say is Trent Brown from Cincinnati Bengals. He's nearly 32. He's got 10 years of experience, and his previous AAV was $4.75 million a year. So he's worth more. But I think his annual salary, apparently market value, will be very, very little. It'll be $1.2 million. This is according to Spot Rack. But
I mean, if you get someone like that for a vet min,
yeah,
that
is the vet min. That is the vet min. So as a depth guy, would you bring him in? Maybe
potentially on a depth guy, on a depth piece, potentially, especially if it's vet minimum.
Yeah,
you're not losing a lot there. It's not going to harm your cap in any way.
It's going to be tough, though. It's going to be tough. And the thing is, as well, I mean, there's some good right tackles that are still in the draft. We'll get into draft talk that you could possibly still get at 29. Mm-hmm. So there's a good few right tackles out there that you're probably going to get. But Christian, watch this space, mate, and we will get back to you with mock draftees, etc., and who we want to look at. So we'll go through that. Tim's final question, and he's also said, so you say the priority is the running game, and the position from a position perspective, it touches the O-line, the tight end room, the running back room, and wide receiver. Noah Brown was brought in because he can block. With limited resources to bring in replacement, prioritize your 4 to 5 players that need to be let go first. So who are you letting go of first? 4 or 5 players that you can get rid of this season.
Has it got to be the offense like you mentioned, or could it be?
No, he's saying offense. So he's saying about the run game. Yeah, he's saying about the run game because the run game's been poor going forward. He's saying it touches all these areas: the offensive line, the tight ends, the running backs, and the wide receivers.
Okay, so it's only offense.
Who are you getting rid of out of the offense that's free? That's gonna go. So for me, Noah Brown is the first one off the list. I'm sorry, Noah, you've been injured, and I mean it was great. You did the wide receiver, you got the Hail Mary and everything.
He just dropsy, he just drop a lot of hands.
He gets quite a few pass interference penalties, but that's about it.
Yeah, I do like his size though. As in like he's quite.
I like his size. Yeah, he's tall.
If anyone was going to come back out of all the ones I'm going to say, it'd be him. But again,
I wouldn't be surprised if he did come back, Scouse. I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zacchaeus has gone.
Yeah, Ozzy's gone. Yeah.
I mean, then you're looking. I mean,
we're saying top 4 who you can get rid of. John
Bates will be gone here, and even though he's pretty solid, I mean, his contract's up. John Bates could be let go, even though he's been solid at the blocks mostly. But it hasn't been good enough. Look at the run game; it hasn't been good enough, has it? I know it's not all on him, but So he's part, as you say, he's part of it. Crowder as well.
Crowder, yeah, just didn't give us much towards the end of the season. The whole
after that little last minute touchdown against the Eagles, he's done nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's. But to be honest, that's probably where I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
How many? I don't think that's four. That's four. I wouldn't be too. I wouldn't be too despondent about that. I mean, because we're talking offense only, aren't we?
We need upgrades at every position.
Yeah, we're only talking offense as well. That's the problem. So when you look at it and you go, oh yeah, what have we got? I mean, Marcus Mariota.
If he wants to stay again, I'd keep him for another year with JD.
But it's tough, isn't it? It's tough. I tell you one though.
Does he want to play?
I tell you one who I'd get rid of immediately without even thinking. Michael Dieter. Bye.
yeah. But again, he's part of the problem. But he doesn't play that often if that's available. So,
but this is what I mean. We're struggling here, aren't we? To say, oh yeah, it's going to be this guy. Oh yeah, it's going to be that guy. Because
on the offense, you can get rid of a lot of them if you really want to be a bit more cutthroat. Yeah, you really.
Jeremy McNichols is a free agent.
C-Rod. I mean, these guys. You can cut all these guys. I mean, I wouldn't get rid of Eckler, but you could, if you want to be brutal, you could cut him as well. You wouldn't cost you too much in the cap. But again, I'd keep him personally. But if you want to be brutal, restart the whole offense, then that's what you could do that because it wouldn't hurt us in dead cap or anything like that. So,
Scott G, I'm the same. I'm with you. I'd bring back Marcus Mariota. I think the offense doesn't need to change then.
Yeah, would.
That's the point.
If he wants to stay as a backup, and even if it is $10 million a year, I mean, I'd do it. But again, it all depends if he wants that. You might think, well, I'm still only 31.
Well, he said in his exit interview that he wanted to start somewhere else. Not somewhere else, but he said he wanted to be a starter in this league. Now, we're not going to give him that. We're not going to give him that, but there might be a team out there like a Raiders who would give him a start. But it depends on what they're doing at quarterback. That's the issue. And with a low draft pick, you would expect them to probably...
What are the Raiders picking?
Third, I think, or fourth, something like that. I can't be certain. I'll have to look. I'd have to... Yeah, that's right, Giants are 4. I'd have to look at the tankathon.
Pat's second?
Yeah. And Tennessee Titans, Tennessee are first. So what's the draft order? Here you go, I've got it up here. The Jags are obviously low as well. So Vegas is 6th.
Okay.
So Jags are 5th, New England 4th, Giants, Cleveland are 2nd. Browns.
Cleveland 2nd?
Browns are 2nd, yeah.
So they could look at a new quarterback, even though they got Watson.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tennessee's definitely taking a quarterback.
So that's Cam
Giants
Ward.
Be taking a quarterback.
Might not be any quarterbacks left by the time it gets to.
There's only probably 3 guys in the first round, I think.
Well, who is it? Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and who's the other one?
I'll probably say Jackson Dart, but that's probably a bit too high. The top 5 for him,
Yeah.
Well, I do think it might be ended around first rounder. He could be one of them guys. Yeah, there might only be 2 at the top. I've not done my full research yet on who's available, but
same, same.
Yeah, I mean, for example, if Cam Ward's there at 4 when the Giants pick, he's going the Giants.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's going
the Giants. So you're not going to see those 2 guys out the top 3, top 4, and then you've got the Raiders.
It's Jalen Milroe, isn't it? Is the other one?
But he's nowhere near good enough for a top 5 pick, top 6 pick in my book. I don't think he's that good. He should. I reckon he should be like a second rounder at most. At best.
Quinn Ewers from Texas.
Yeah, I like Ewers, but I don't think end of the first, probably second rounder.
Jackson Dart's apparently like 9th. They're saying the 9th rated quarterback. Kyle McCord is out there as well. I don't know. I'm just
I've not done enough research on them to be truly zoned in. But
It's not something I'm looking at. I'll be honest with you. It's not something I've even thought about.
We're right at the bottom of the first round. So.
Yeah, because normally we'd be like, who's that? Who's that? Who's the best tackle? Who's the best quarterback? Who's the best thing? You know, you're thinking, you always think about something.
Who's
not doing it now.
The fourth best, that guy. But yeah, man. It's all fun, man.
Cheers, Scott G. Appreciate you, mate. I know he said meeting time, but thanks for the fun during the season. We'll still be on podding, mate. So come in every Thursday. We'll have something to talk about, even if it's just us drinking. But thank you for being with us, mate. We appreciate you.
You drinking the Kool-Aid?
He is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Oh, you are.
I am. Yeah, I'm drinking.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
100%. Paul Fiander Turner's brought us a question in here. He said, "Did that drop cost Diami a few million in free agency overpay?"
Probably. Being honest,
yeah,
probably.
Do you think he's going to get a big bag somewhere else, or do you think we sign him for a decent contract? Because I don't think he's going to be cost that much money.
No, I mean,
I don't think he's shown enough to.
And other guys are saying that he's going to get the bag. He's going to be wide receiver 2 money, and it's like, yeah. I was like, whoa, are you sure about that? Because it's a bit ropey, I don't think he will be. I think it will be a team-friendly deal. I don't think it would be expensive at all. But to be fair, I mean, I was letting him go until 2 games ago when he started showing up. I was letting him go. I was too. I wasn't impressed with him at all. So I was like, And then all of a sudden, he started turning up in the playoffs. Okay, these are the big games, the big moments. So maybe he has got something to offer. So he deserves a contract offer. But for me, that doesn't mean that it's going to be tier 2, wide receiver tier 2 money. So, and if he wants that, then he can good look somewhere else trying to get that kind of corn. Because he's not wide receiver 2, even here. I don't.
He's not.
Rate him enough to if you had I know we'll go to extremes, but if you had T. Higgins available and you got Diami Brown, who you having? See what I mean?
It's not even a question, is it? It's not.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're all talking about trying to pay guards money or pay right tackles money. T. Higgins is not leaving Cincinnati for less than $30 million a year. We've got to be honest here with where we are, because if you look at the relative contracts in their entirety around the league, you're looking at something between Jalen Waddle, who's on $33 million a year average, and then yes, and then the next one. Oh, hang on, no, at 20. Sorry, what's he on? I'll tell you now. The highest paid ones, and then you've got the other one on there.
It's going to be the highest paid, whatever that is.
Well, they still need to pay him. That's the problem.
He needs to get paid big money. But he's beginning. He hasn't worth it.
And then it's your mate from San Francisco. His name's escaping me now. We were after him.
That's good. That's good, Rod. Diami said he's picked up his professional approach. I mean, it took him 4 years, though. Yeah, it took him 4 years. A bit of a slow burn.
Yeah. Brandon Ayuk, that's what I was looking for, man. I was thinking, who the hell is... So it's going to be in around there. So I'm looking at this now. So Tyreek Hill is on average per year 30 mil. Brandon Ayuk's on 30 mil. Waddle's on 28.5 mil. Then it's Devontae Adams on 28 mil. DJ Moore's on 27.5. Now, he's not going to accept 27.5 T. Higgins. This is a guy who's in his prime. So you're probably looking at in between Jalen Waddle and Ayuk. So I reckon you're probably looking at about 29 a year at absolute best.
I mean, what's the second tag price for a receiver?
That I have no idea because it's not obviously been set at the minute, but I don't know what it is. It's going to be around about 26 million.
If you get tagged once, it's like, say, 22 or whatever it was this year. And then if you get tagged the second time, it's like 25% increase.
It's 25%. So wide receiver tag is at the moment this year is 19.76 mil. Then you add in 25 on that percent, so you're looking at 26 and a bit mil.
So that's going to be the bare minimum he's going to look for, isn't he? End of the day, because the worst case scenario for him, he goes, well, okay, I'll probably get tagged again.
So I'm right. Probably you're looking at 29 mil.
Yeah, you probably are looking around that area, with the 28 to to 29 to 30 mils, probably. He's probably looking for the big 3-0.
That's a serious amount of money, that, though,
And
isn't
plus,
it?
don't forget, we're going to have to give Terry a new deal as well because
Correct.
he's had a career year and he's going into his last year of his deal next year. So, what are you going to do with that? I don't think you want to play on 1 year deal left. I don't think he's one of them guys.
No chance.
Who would
No
do it.
chance.
So
that is a serious amount of money, though, to pay out.
Is
So
he going to give you the touchdowns that you need to make the difference?
But I think Terry would restructure his contract if you gave him another couple of years, a bit more guaranteed money. You worked it that way and worked round it. You could probably do the same with Jonathan Allen because or you get rid of Jonathan Allen and you save yourself 17 million on the cap.
Yeah, I think
absolutely take that with a heartbeat because that is then at the moment our biggest earners in this team are both on the D line. And neither of them have performed anywhere near the standards of what we want to. When Deron Payne got his contract, he was balls to the wall and he was really good. And you think, great.
But they're using them differently, though. I mean,
they're space eaters. They're space eaters. They're run stuffers. That's what.
And setting edges, stuff like that. I mean, that's like the dirty work. But so your stats are going to drop big time, especially this year. Obviously we've got coaches who we like to think know what they're doing. So. I'm not worried about John Payne's dropping in stats this year.
No, I'm not either. I'm not bothered. No, not about
John Allen. I mean, I'm happy for him to go. I think he sometimes causes the D-line to be worse.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, you see, like when he wasn't playing, our D-line was actually a lot better.
Yeah,
Newton and Payne were playing in the middle, you know, and they were playing. I found them playing better than when Allen came back for the playoffs. So. I just think I don't know what it is. Maybe Allen just does his own thing. I don't know. Maybe just not. Maybe just not as brotherly as he used to be. Him and Payne. I don't know what it is, but I think it's time for JA to go. Sorry.
So Paul's second question. He said, which player next season deserves a celebration burn against them the most? Garner Johnson or Quinion Mitchell?
Oh, Gardner Johnson all day.
100% agree with you. He's an absolute
he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's a douche, man.
He's a knobhead, yeah. He's just
I'd love to see him get smoked.
Exactly that. Right, last question then, and it's probably going to create a little bit of a debate for a few minutes here, but we'll get on to it. Scott G's second question, he said, Jesse and Scouse on the bunker both said the tush-push formation is an illegal formation. For example, for opposite reasons. Too far forwards versus too far backs for the ends players. Why does hatred of the play cloud their vision, causing them to both be wrong? Usually it's a 100% legal formation.
I think you see this tush push and you see how close the players get to that ball. In a normal play, that isn't tush push, that's a standard play.
Yeah.
No, as in... the quarterback under center, yeah? So a normal quarterback under the center play. The space between the two lines is like a good yard.
Quite big.
Yeah, it's quite big, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it comes to the tush push, the Eagles guys are like fucking right on the ball. It's like, wait a minute, you can't always... The ball's meant to be in front of the center. You're not meant to be on line with the ball. And a lot of times you see them in there, and you could say, is it the guards or the guys in the middle, or is it more the edges? I see a lot of the guys on the edges creeping in and actually being technically offsides. So for me, it never gets called, by the way, but I see a lot. I'm like, what's this? And they never get called for it because no one's really looking at them. But technically, you guys are in an illegal formation because you're offsides. So that's my thing. Besides that, I can't stand the play. I think it's a shit play. I think it's a rugby play that shouldn't be in the NFL.
It's a maul, isn't it, basically? It's the back end of a maul. That's exactly what it is, yeah.
Yeah, and, I say most players don't even like doing it. Even Eagles players don't like doing it. But they still do it because it works. But don't forget, about 2008, I think it was, something like that, there was a rule that you could not push a player forward.
Yeah.
There was a rule in the rule book. You can't push your receiver forward or your running back forward or your quarterback. You can't push them. And there's no reason you took that out. And then obviously, ex-rugby guy Mile Arter comes up with a good idea, which is a good idea.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And technically, it is a legal play if you're not offsides. It's a legal play, but I think it should be banned. And I think not just because we don't do it, and the Eagles are good at it. It's the case of I hate that play. Like if I'm watching a game of football, I don't want to see that on 4th and 1 every single time. I don't want to see that. I want to see actual real plays being played, not rugby plays getting involved in NFL.
I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Do you think it goes to a rule change committee this off season? Do you think there's enough scope within this? Do you think there's enough scope within this the NFL where they all get together and say enough's enough? Like it needs
the only
to stop.
way that this gets changed is if what happens in the Super Bowl next week.
True. If the Chiefs get beat by a tush push, 31 other teams are going to go ban that play. Yeah,
exactly. Well, as soon as the Chiefs start saying banning that play, it's going to happen. So this is what I mean. It's kind of like
because it fucks up. It fucks up the three-peat. Yeah, I get that.
It's a very, very difficult play to stop because they literally need a yard, and Jalen Hurts is quite strong in his legs. He's very strong in his legs.
Yeah, he is. He's very strong.
So it makes it a lot. That's why not every quarterback can do it. That's why not every team can do it well. Everyone tries it, but he can't do it properly. Yeah. One, they haven't got a true rugby player coaching how to do it, which is Mailata, and then they don't have a guy, a quarterback with strong legs like Jalen Hurts, and he's quite small. Like for example, you might go, well, Josh Allen, he does it sometimes and gets away with it.
Yeah, he does.
But he's not. But again, because he's a tall lad. He's wider, so he's easier to stop. Does that make sense? Because you can't get to him in time. He's already got past the yard. Yeah, like Hurts. I mean, he's strong in his legs, but he's slender and shorter, isn't he? So he's harder to stop from the defense.
Yeah, he's compact.
So, yeah. He's harder to get hold of to tackle than say a Josh Allen is, because he's bigger to. Oh, he's there. I can see him. I can get him. You see what I mean? So yeah, sometimes it works for Josh, but most of the time it doesn't. He's probably the second best at it in the league, but everybody else just can't do it properly. They just can't do it properly.
I just don't think there's a way of actually physically stopping the play from happening.
No, I mean, once in a blue moon, you might stop it once, but you're not going to stop it the next time you do it, because if it's we're 3rd and 1, you might do it then. So you might stop it and go, oh, brilliant. But then 4th and 1 happens and you get it. You can't stop it like every single time it happens, or 9 out of 10. You can't stop it like that. It's like a 10% play for your defense. It's 1 in 10. You might stop it. It's not. That's just a shit play for me. Now, of course, does it give you the advantage? Hell yeah. And the fans who it works for are going to be buzzing about it. It keeps the drives going, all the rest of it. But for me, that's not football. That's not football.
No, I agree. All right, well, that just about does us this week then, Scouts. What we'll do next week, mate, if you are available, we will keep the mic rolling and we'll probably do our superlatives of the season. So we'll look at who did well, who didn't, who was our offensive rookie of the year, etc., etc. We'll look back at what we said weeks ago before the season started. And then we'll also maybe preview the Super Bowl matchup between the Chiefs and the Eagles and maybe give that a thorough looking over. We're still going to be about during... I know. I wanted that too. I want that too. Let's just make it a tie. But yeah, it's yeah, exactly. It's one of them where you're going to go, well, hold on, what do we actually want here? I don't. Yeah. Certainly don't want Philly winning. I don't. Do you know? I don't even think I'll watch it.
I don't want the 3
I'm saying I won't watch it. I will watch it. I know I'll watch it, but I'm not.
Not interested in it. You're just going to watch it.
I'm not interested in it. I'll just watch it because it's on. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're going to watch it because it's the last game for like 6 months, 7 months.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
But there you go. All right, that just about does us. Thanks everybody for being in the chat. Rod, Scott G, Ian, Aled was in earlier as well, so appreciate you all for being with us. Can't thank everybody enough who's supporting the show. Thanks for everyone who retweets. Thanks for all your questions as well. Christian, Paul, Fiander Turner, Tim Towner with some amazing questions this week. Thanks all. We will go keep the mic rolling through the off season. Yeah, Eagles. Yeah, okay, there you go. At least you.
Well, I was going to say spelled it right, but
Yeah. Well, he hasn't. He's put 2S on the end. So yeah, no. Illiterate Philadelphia fans, get out of our chat. Nah, you're all good. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, we got to be by the better side. Got to admit that. But there you go. All right, that just about does us, and we'll see you again next week, 3 p.m. on Eastern Time. See you then.
Bye.